Hi, welcome back to Through the Muck and Mire. This is going to be my first official barbecue video. Hopefully I get to barbecue a lot this summer and I get to do more of these. But anyways, I'm making a brisket. I recently bought a Camp Chef Woodwind Pro 36 and they were running a promotion at the time. So it came with a box of, it's called Piedmontese, Certified Piedmontese beef. They sent me some other things like pork belly and chicken, which I made some homemade bacon out of that pork belly last week, which was awesome. But anyways, this Piedmontese is like some kind of special breed of cattle from Italy that's supposed to be leaner, less fat, but still very tender because it's like double muscled or something, like, I don't know, whatever. I didn't pay for it. I'm gonna try it. It looks good. However, it being a leaner cut of meat means it has less fat. And if you ask me, it's not just about being tender, it's still gotta taste good, right? So this is these were drippings from my last brisket that I made. I took my drip pan out, let it settle, and the fat separated from the liquid. So I skimmed the fat off at the top and threw it in the freezer. So this is actually smoked, seasoned. If you could smell this, it smells amazing. It smells just like brisket. So good. So anyways, I keep that in the freezer and I broke it up into like little chunks. And I actually use that to sear my steaks with. But I decided I was gonna try to inject some of that fat, smoked seasoned brisket fat, into this brisket just to give it a little bit extra fat, moisture, flavor. I'm gonna be using the last of my Kosmos Q cow cover. They make cow cover hot, which is the spicy version of this, and I prefer that one, but I used it so fast that I need to buy more, and I need to buy this one too. But this is Touch of Cherry by Three Little Pigs, and it's good. I've used it on ribs, never used it on brisket, but I'm running out of my beef rub, so I'm gonna finish it off with this. It's cherry, brown sugar, and mesquite. And I'm gonna be using sriracha as my binder. Typically I use mustard, which I think most people use mustard. I've never really noticed the flavor. I don't know. Some people say you can, some people say you can't taste it. But regardless, I know a lot of people really like to use hot sauce. So I'm gonna try this sriracha. I think I heard, I don't know, I watched too many videos on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure I heard that this helps the bark form a little bit stronger than mustard. I think mustard is a little bit of softer crust. I don't know, I could be lying. And then apple cider vinegar here, just to spritz it with. Went out and bought a little spritzer bottle, so I don't typically spritz my meat. It sounds funny. But yeah, I don't typically spritz during a barbecue, mostly because I'm lazy. But Mad Scientist Barbecue, I don't know. He makes a lot of brisket, and he also spends a hella amount of time studying meat and barbecue and testing out various things. And he spritzes his meat, so I'm gonna spritz mine. And the last thing, this is kind of random, but kind of like Frank's Red Hot, Goya Sazon. I put this shit on everything. It's got like a good salty, almost like a umami flavor to it. And it's also like bright orange. So it gives a good color as well. So I'm gonna just, once I put all that shit on, I guess I should be cussing, whatever. Once I put all that stuff on, then I'm gonna sprinkle this on top. So anyways, I'm gonna get this prepped up. The smoker is running right now at 225 and I'm gonna run it all night. So it is what it is. pulled up a chair, so now you can see me and the meat, at least a little bit. So a couple things I want to talk about real quick that I forgot. This is obviously a separated brisket. It is a flat and a point. It was all together when I got it. I separated it. Some people, that might piss them off. I get, purist brisket lovers. I don't know. Don't really care though. The reason I did it is because you cut your cook time literally in half. So it's a 9-pound brisket. It would have taken 18 hours cooking at 225. You cut it in half. So now it's going to take me 9 hours. No, that's not right. What an idiot. So it's basically an hour and a half to 2 hours per pound. These are around 4 to 5 pounds each. So we're looking at 8 to 10 hours instead of 18 hours. Yeah. And then, so I ran out of Kosmos Q. And I was like, I finished putting Kosmos Q and Touch of Cherry on this one. And I was like, this one can't only have Touch of Cherry. It needs a little bit extra. So I went back to butt rub, which this stuff also, I put on a lot of stuff. You can put this on your eggs and your hash browns in the morning. It's great with your breakfast. Really good. So anyways, yeah, this one has butt rub and Touch of Cherry. And then, like I said, I think I threw away the Goya packet. But yeah, Goya Sazon on top. Got a little bit of Redemption weeded bourbon here. And it's about to go in the cooker, which I forgot to mention the Camp Chef Woodwind Pros, which I bought, the one I bought. It has something special about it, which is why it costs so damn much money. I'm not paid to say this. The reason I got it is because of this special feature. It has a wood burning box that slides in above the pellet burner. So most pellet smoking grills do not give off very good smoke flavor. I can't explain it to you why, because they're made out of natural wood, or most pellets are made out of natural wood and stuff like that, and they're burning very clean smoke. You would think that they would give good flavor, but it's just not very strong. So anyways, Camp Chef came up with the idea to have a box that you slide in and out. You can put wood chunks in it, you can put charcoal in it, whatever, and yeah, it just gives off true wood smoked flavor. So I think that covers it for what I wanted to talk about for right now. But yeah, if you haven't tried cutting your cook time down drastically by removing your point from your flat, you should try it. Also, they cook at different rates because the flat has less fat in it. The point has more fat in it. The point typically takes longer to cook, which can dry out your flat. Some of the logic, which I don't know if it works or not, is that the flat moisture is supposed to cook into, the point moisture and fat is supposed to cook into the flat. I don't really know how that would work because there's literally, I wish I could turn, well, maybe you can see it here, but there's a full layer of fat completely through separating. It's two separate muscles that are joined together like this, basically. So I don't know how you could say that the top piece of this is still flat muscle. The bottom of it is the point muscle, which is the really good fatty meat. I don't see how it would be possible that the point fat would somehow magically find its way through an entire fat cap that separates two muscles. But that's what people say. I disagree. And anyways, I injected mine with extra fat, so we'll see how that goes. This one did not get any extra fat, only the flat got extra fat. So like I said, this part of the point is still technically flat muscle, so we should be able to tell if there's a noticeable difference between any of these slices and like the first couple slices of the point. That should probably be because this was ejected. And yeah, let's throw this on the grill now. Ta-da!
got these two. It's got 4 color-coded meat probes that come with the grill also, and then they run through this hole right here. Pretty convenient. This guy is set up to an app, so it's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Super convenient. You can adjust the temperature and the smoke level. Put a little wood chunk underneath it because the flat, sometimes the liquid will pull on top of it and then the bark doesn't settle well. So, pro tip. So, this is the smoke box that I was talking about. This guy goes out. And I just got some Jealous Devil lump charcoal and some hickory wood. Probably just going to put the hickory. Do a few chunks and then come back to it later. Alright, so it's 175. We got it set at 225, and both of the meat probes run into my phone. So I'm probably gonna go take a nap. It's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning right now. Take a nap and set an alarm to check on it in a few hours. Probably gonna try to wrap it around. Usually check around like 165. Check the bark. It's something I also got from Mad Scientist. Check the bark. Don't worry about the temperature. The temperature is a good indicator, but it's not like guaranteed, because what happens is you hit a stall, and then once you hit the stall, liquid is still being cooked off essentially. So you have to wait until the liquid is done coming out of the meat so that the bark is settled very well, because once you wrap it, if there's still more liquid coming out, it's just gonna steam and it's gonna break down your bark. And that's like my favorite part of barbecue is the bark. So yeah, start checking it around 165, and then if the bark is settled, then I'm gonna wrap it up with butcher paper and put it back on. One thing about this Piedmontese beef, at least from what I read online, is typically you want to finish brisket around like 205. Since this is leaner, people said that you should actually pull it off around 195. So I'm going to start checking, like probing for doneness around 190, 195. Again, like temperatures are good indicators, but you got to feel the meat, look at it. You know, there are other tests that you do. You don't just say, "Oh, well, it's been this many hours. I guess it's done," or "Oh, it hit this temperature. I guess it's done." You're going to run into some bad barbecue that way. So anyways, come back to you. Alright, so it's been a little more than an hour and a half. I didn't take a nap. Instead, I got on YouTube and started watching all these brisket videos, and decided that I should have put the brisket on fat cap side up. So I'm gonna flip it over. Hopefully it's not too long to make a difference, if it makes a difference at all. And also, if the bark seems like it's starting to set in, I'm gonna spritz it. You don't want to spritz it before the bark sets in, because then you're just spraying off all of your seasoning. So, and also gonna check the wood. The bark is setting. These are nitrile gloves with cotton liner, so you can handle the hot. Good luck. Oh, hi. Cat. Hopefully that actually focuses. It looks pretty good. Using the back of my hand so I don't get that all over the handle. So now, I'm actually gonna see if I need to refill the wood, and then try to get some. A bunch of charcoal on top of that, so that's why it took so long to dig this stuff out. All right, so yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. Yeah, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I got an alarm set for a couple more hours, which I anticipate the stall to kick in, and then wrap it up. So that'll be like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning probably, and then a few more hours after that, we'll be good. All right, so quick update. It's like 6:30 in the morning now. I got a couple, 2-3 hours sleep. I woke up. I had an alarm set for about an hour ago. I woke up, checked the temp. I was like, all right, seems like it's around the stall. It was in like the 150s, I think. So, yeah, it was at 153 an hour ago. And then I was like, I'm going to go back to sleep, check it again. And now it's at 156, 157. So it's been within 10 degrees for a full hour. So it is definitely in the stall. Yeah, that looks good. So anyways, I'm going to wrap these up, throw them back on, and then it should just be a couple more, probably a few more hours. I think I'll probably finish around 9, if I had to guess. So they look good though. All right, so it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. Took a little bit longer than I thought. So it's stalled in the 150s. I wrapped it. I can't remember what. You just saw that a few seconds ago, I'm sure. So I don't remember what time that was. But then, yeah, this morning around like 10, I want to say, 10, 11, it stalled in the 190s. And now it's at 199 right now. It's been sitting at 199 for a while. I've already checked it for tenderness, and most of the point is like literally like butter. It feels like I'm stabbing, once it gets through the butcher paper, it's like there's nothing inside the butcher paper. The flat though it just reached 190 just now, so it's not done yet. I checked it a little while ago. It's pretty tender, but it's not done. So anyways, I'm gonna pull off the point, and then probably I would assume the flat will be done in another hour, because it's at least moving now. It's not stalled. So there's that. I haven't checked yet. Excuse me, ladies. I haven't checked yet, but I think the left side of the grill actually comes hotter. So I just moved the flat over to where the point was. But yeah. Good back. All right, so we're like past 12 hours now. The flat stalled at 195. I don't know how it hit a second stall. I'm gonna have to look into that, see what causes a second stall to happen. But stuck at 195 for a long time. We were still cooking at 225, so I decided to bump up the heat to 250. It broke the stall immediately, and so now in like the last 20 minutes, it's gone from 195 to 200. So I'm gonna probe it. All right, you see where I probed it before? Woo!
getting through the paper is the hard part, but that meat is soft. Now, if you remember, I said I collected my drippings last time. Well, I ran out of these guys, and this is from the last cook. So obviously, I didn't want to mix my. That was from ribs. I didn't have a liner, and I don't know if this metal thing that came with the grill is actually like water sealed. So I found an old glass and use that for my dripping. So I'm going to let that cool down, and again, it should separate into fat and liquid, and then you can reuse it. All right, so it's been like 12 or 13 hours now. The flat stalled at 195 for like over an hour, so decided to crank it up from 225 to 250. That immediately broke the stall. Within the last 20 minutes, it's gone up from 195 to 200. So I'm gonna check it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. Got the point in here. Usually try to let my briskets cool for a few hours before I cut into them. Allegedly, lets the juices resettle into the meat. It's also still cooking, so as long as it's above, I think, 160 degrees, it's still breaking down connective tissue, making it more tender. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one off, throw it in the cooler. It's like 2:30 right now, so ready for dinner time. And now, while we wait for it to cool down and for dinner time to roll around, time for cheers. Oh, it's Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. Well, there you have it. It's my first brisket on the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro in the books. I had cooked on it before this, but that was my first brisket. I took a couple notes while I was editing and wanted to talk about a couple things that stood out to me. Put my foot in my mouth a couple times. So the cook time that I said was off by a good bit because I didn't account for the stalls. Not just one stall, but 2 stalls. So I said I should have been technically, if you go by the general rule of 1.5 to 2 hours per pound on a brisket, cooking at 225 degrees, I should have been between like 9 and 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours. My point cut was done, I pull it off around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, if I remember correctly. So that's right at 12 hours. And then the flat was done at like 2:30 or 3:30. I can't remember exactly. But either way, more than 13 hours. But I will say, though, I still stand by, you can't argue with the fact that if you cut it in half, you're cooking a 4 or 5 pound piece of meat and another 4 or 5 pound piece of meat instead of a 9 pound piece of meat altogether. So where those two 4 to 5 pound pieces of meat took 13 hours because of 2 stalls, which I don't know where the second stall came from, but if it had been a 9 pound piece of meat, we're looking at 18 hours technically. Add 2 stalls to that, you might be looking at 24 hours. So, another 10 hours. I definitely didn't have that to devote to it. Yeah, the second stall, that was another thing I want to talk about. Comment in the comment section, please, if you know what could have caused that. I don't know if it was like opening the, I don't know, opening the hood too much, or I almost felt like when I was probing the meat, like maybe that was like, creating the holes inside the butcher paper and inside the meat was letting too much heat escape. Possibly. It's just a theory. But whatever it was, both separate pieces of meat stalled in the 150s, which was expected. They got wrapped up, broke their stall, and then they stalled again in the 190s. So I don't know. I'm flabbergasted. I originally wanted to get a little bit more in depth with cutting, and I wanted to get my wife to try it and do a little sample test, whatever. It's Mother's Day, so she was very, very happy to have me cook brisket. It was actually her request and her family's request. Unfortunately, one of her brothers got sick, so her family couldn't make it out today. But they love barbecue, they love brisket, and they always ask me to cook them for them. So my wife was not mad that I spent all this time making this video because it would have been devoted to cooking the brisket regardless. However, she was spending time with my son in the background, and they were having a great time. They were laughing and yelling and stuff like that. So that's why when I'm cutting the brisket up, I sped up the video and don't have audio behind it, because you would have just been listening to my son talk about dinosaurs and stuff like that. So I did get my wife to try it. Well, obviously that we ate dinner, but I tried to get her to sneak in behind the camera and have a sample of it and get her real thoughts, and I was going to clip that part in, but she was very impatient, ready to eat dinner. So she was like, no, like she ate it, she tried it, she was like, this is amazing, it's 10 out of 10. To her, she said it was 10 out of 10. But I was like, can you tell me about it? Like, does it taste different than my other briskets that I've cooked? Do you taste any spice from the sriracha? Anything like that? And she was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I'm ready to eat. Let's go. So had to hurry up and eat. And then other than that, oh yeah, this fat. So I collected the fat here, and it didn't separate the way that it did last time. So this is like mostly liquid. So last time I put it in a glass container, and it was liquid from the bottom up, and then the top, like, I don't know, 1/4 inch was fat. And it was a larger container. It was like a rectangular glass Tupperware. So I pretty much pulled off a 1/4 inch of the entire top of that Tupperware last time, and it was all fat. This, I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess this could be fat, but it's not. It's not like hardening the way fat usually does. There is some at the bottom for sure, but that's weird compared to last time. I don't understand what's different about it. Maybe it's that Piedmontese beef or whatever, but this is not what it looked like last time. So I don't know if I'm going to use this the same way that I used the last one, as far as like searing steaks with it or using it as fat, because I don't know if that is just fat. So yeah, probably not gonna mess with that. Other than that, I mean, the grill itself is super easy to use. The wood flavor definitely came through. I cooked for 13 hours, and the hopper still has probably enough in it to do, I would say, a rack of ribs. So plenty of pellet capacity. The temperature control is fantastic, and it has like a graph on the app and the phone. I'm sure the other pellet smokers have that kind of stuff too, but I'm not used to that. I've been using a Weber Smoky Mountain for years, and before that, I had a cheap combo grill with a smoker box on the side of it. And yeah, so having a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connected pellet smoker that you just turn it to, what you want, and having a graph that shows you like, so they give you four probes that are all color coded, and the graph shows you what the internal temperature of the grill is, and then what each probe is measured at. So you can see how your meat, and also like you set your temperature for each probe separately. You can set alarms on it. Like, I mean, pretty much anything you can do with a barbecue app, you can do it with this app. So you can see where your meat, how it's climbing up towards your goal. You can set your alarm for whenever you get to whatever temperature you want to get. So let's say you wanted to set an alarm for like the stall, and you wanted to be like, I want to make sure that I check the grill at, my brisket hits 150 or 160 degrees, alarm, bam. So that's pretty cool. Not really any complaints, honestly. It does what it's supposed to do. Food came out great. No complaints. My wife loved it. My son ate it. He's kind of picky. Well, it's kind of funny. When he was a baby, he loved barbecue. He loved brisket. But, kids, for whatever reason, they start becoming picky. He's 4 years old now, and it's hard for us to get him to eat anything. But he ate the brisket, and he was like, oh, that's good. And just kept eating it. So that's a good sign for me. Anyways, if you've stayed this long, thank you. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram, follow me at Through the Muck and the Mire. And hopefully, I'll be putting out some more barbecue content soon. I'm studying for the bar this summer. I'm taking it in July, so I should be off of work focusing solely on the bar. But typically, I work over an hour from home. So technically, even if I, study completely, focus on the bar, and the same amount of hours that I would be working throughout the day, it opens up an hour and a half in the evening and an extra hour in the morning that, potential cooking hours, get some stuff on the grill. But yeah, cheers.